Howdy folks, welcome back to my channel. I've got another cool find video for you today. If you're not familiar with this series, check out the playlist link in the description. It's just random items that I found either at pawn shops or online or whatever that I've purchased over the last several years, kind of compiled them into an album. Well, today's is no exception. I have an Ashbory Bass right here. And this one's gonna need a little bit of work, so we'll do that today. But here's the thing about an Ashbory Bass. If you're not familiar with that, they actually came out in the 1980s, like the late 1980s, and it was the brainchild of two men, Alan Ashworth and Nigel Thornbury, and they put their names together and came up with Ashbory Bass. Now, a lot of people say it's supposed to be pronounced Ashbory, but the general consensus is it's actually pronounced Ashbury. I don't want to get into that. You can have a fight in the comments if you want, but here is what I got. So you can see, first of all, it's got the original DeArmond gig bag. I know some people call this DeArmond and some people call it DeArmond. I'm not sure which, but the DeArmond gig bag. And then here is the bass. Now, this is a DeArmond branded, or DeArmond, or however you want to say that, branded Ashbory. There was actually 3 different runs of these. The very first were in the 1980s, and they were made by the Guild Guitar Company. So they're Guild branded on the back of the headstock here. This one has the DeArmond branding, but you can see it also has the Guild crest, which means it's an early second generation. So then after several years in 2002, they just dropped the DeArmond name and all, and they were branded Fender Ashbory. But here you go. So this is exactly how I got it, and I got it from a thrift store. Okay, so they had no idea if it worked or not. It has no strings on it, as you can see. Okay, so when I got it home, the first thing I did was plug it in here, and you can see the LED light comes on, indicating that, you know, at least the electronics are working. And you've got 3 knobs here, a bass, treble control, and a volume control. I've got them all. I've got the bass and the treble in the middle, and I've got the volume all the way up. Now, these had a pickup inside the bridge. So I've got this other end plugged into an amp, and if I tap here, hopefully the camera can pick that up, but you can hear some sound coming out of the amp, indicating that the electronics are working. So I think all I need to do is replace the strings, and this should be a functioning Ashbory Bass. Now, originally these had silicone strings on them, which gave it part of its sound. Since then, a lot of people have changed to like gut strings on them and said they've gotten better results, or, you know, that the strings are a little more stable. But I found a set of actual silicone Ashbory strings online. I'm gonna put those on it today and test it out. So what they say to do is to tie a knot in one end, just like that. And then hook it under your bridge, like that. And stretch it up to the tuner. Now you can see the string is shorter, because this has got to go all the way up to the end too, and you can see the string is shorter. They say just stretch it because it's gonna stretch anyway. So I'm gonna tie a knot here, another knot in this end, just like that. So now I've got knots in both ends. I'm gonna stretch it up to this tuner and put it right through the tuner like that. Okay, so the 4 strings are on it. Maybe you can just kind of see here, those knots just sit under the bridge, and on this end, the knots just go through the tuner. So time to tune it up. You know, I read a lot about these back in the day, and people said it takes about 2 days for the strings to stabilize, to really stay in tune. But, you know, it's been maybe an hour now, and so they seem to be plausibly in tune. Okay, so you can hear it does actually sound like an upright bass. Whoops. You see that just popped? See that? How that just popped out there? Okay, so in my time reading about these, I found they have two common problems that people complain about. Number one, if you look at the strap buttons, there's one here and there's one here. So the strap buttons are only about, 6, maybe 7 inches apart. So what happens then is when it hangs here, it just is not in a very comfortable place to play. But people have said if you take this strap button and move it to right here, and then you use, a tie up here, which I happen to have one of those right over here, that it's a lot more comfortable to play with the strap. Then the other thing that people say is a constant problem with these, as you just saw, sometimes the E-string will pop out of the nut there. There's no string tree or, no string retainer here. So I'm gonna see if I can fix that. So let's go out to the workshop, fix those couple things, and then we'll play it again. Okay, folks, I'm out in the workshop, and as I said, I have one of these little mushroom strap buttons. Let's go ahead and put that back here on the back, and that should relocate the strap button. Then for up here, for, being a string tree, I have some of these here. These are these little cable clips. Like if you're running coaxial cable or something, you'll use these to kind of attach it to the wall or whatever. I think these are gonna work perfect because they seem to fit just right over these. So I'm thinking I could just probably take 3 of these and install them. Of course, nails are not the best way to install them, so I'll have to find some small screws. But I think that's gonna work. All right, so there we go, mod's done. I put this little thing on up here to give it a another strap swivel. So first things first, let's try putting a traditional strap on here. Okay, so like that, let's put this over. Obviously we need to shorten this up quite a bit, but there we go. That seemed to work. Definitely need to use a fairly short strap for this particular instrument, but as you can see, let's bring the volume back up and let's try to play something on it. Oh, by the way, I've not played with the EQ yet. The entire time I've been playing it, I've had both the bass and treble EQ set center and then the volume all the way up. So let's see here. Which one's which? Is this the bass? Yes, that's definitely the bass. So here's the bass all the way down. Bass in the middle. Bass all the way up. Woo! Not sure how much that's going to come through on the camera, but I can tell here. Then we'll put it back to the middle. Here's the treble all the way down. Treble in the middle. And treble all the way up. Definitely tell when you get it up high. So I think I like it best with the treble at the center detent and the bass just past the center detent, but not quite all the way up. It's got a really nice thumpy, uprighty type tone. Very nice. And between these strings constantly going out of tune and the fact that this is a fretless instrument, which I'm not, used to, those sound clips might have been kind of terrible, but I think it was as much the strings as it was me. I'm not just trying to blame on the strings, but I really do think that in a couple days I'll play some more with it, maybe release a clip or two so you can kind of hear what it sounds like when it's in tune. But anyway, there you go. If you like what I do on this channel, if you like these cool find videos or anything like that, please hit that subscribe button for me. I really appreciate that. And of course, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up because that like button really does help out the channel. So appreciate that. Appreciate your support. And I will be back with another video soon.